Fatiha. Selamun Aleyküm. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد سيدنا ورسول مدد يا رسول مدد يا سادة وسلام الدستور ولا شاء الله فاز أحسن شيخ محمد الله مدد طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجميع. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم وأنتم تتلون الكتاب فلا تعقلون. صدق الله العظيم. Allah Azze ve Celle diyor, sen iyiliği emrederken kendinizi unutuyorsunuz. Hani diyorsunuz ki bu
Allah Almighty says, while you command the good, you forget about yourself, and you forget about commanding yourself to do the good.
emir sen vereceksin, başkaları tutacak bu emri. İyilik yapmayı, her türlü
You command others to do good, and you give guidance to others to do goodness,
Allah Azze ve Celle'nin istediğini yapmayı,
and you command others to do what Allah Almighty has ordered.
başkalarına söyleyeceksin. Sen kendin yapmayacaksın.
But while you recommend others to do all these things, you forget about yourself, and you yourself do not practice what you preach.
Böyle olur mu diyor Allah Azze ve Celle.
And Allah Almighty then says, do you think this is the right way? This is okay to do it like this?
Olmaz.
No, you can't do it like this.
Yani bir insan bir nasihat verdi mi, bir fikir verdi mi, yani
If you give advice, if you give an idea,
nasıl başkasına veriyorsa
just the same way you tell others what to do and make recommendations to them,
onu kendisi de yapması lazım.
the same way you need yourself to do and practice what you say.
Yoksa yapmasa başkaları faydalanmış olur. Kendi
If you do not follow and do not implement what you say and only tell others to do so, well, the others, they will get their benefit and the blessing from doing what you said.
kendisi hem fayda almamış olur, hem bildiği halde yapmadığı için vebal olur kendisine.
However, you yourself, because you did not practice what you preached, you will not gain any benefit, and instead you may even take the responsibility and be held accountable for having committed the sin of not actually fulfilling the commands you recommend others to do.
O çoğu insan zanneder ki kendi yaptığı iyidir.
People are always convinced of themselves that they think that whatever they do, it's always the right best thing,
Ne yaparsa yapsın iyidir. Hiçbir
and they think that whatever they do, it's always right,
kötülük yok.
and they think of themselves they never do something wrong or something bad,
Başkaları şey yapması lazım. Bunu
and they always blame the others, and they always consider the others as the ones who need to follow guidance and recommendations.
söylediği nasihatı, meşveret ettiği işi yapması lazım.
And they always consider others to having to fulfill the advice and the guidance.
Kendisi hepsinden daha iyidir.
But when they look at themselves, they themselves consider themselves as being superior, not needing to follow any advice.
Zanneder. Bu nefsini yüceltmek, nefsini yükseltmektir bu.
And this is self-praise, and a person who acts this way praises and exalts his own ego and boasts.
Nefis iyilik yapacak ki kendini de kamil görmeyecek. Nasıl
The ego needs to be constantly trained through good actions so that the ego never considers itself to be perfect.
Daha iyi yapayım diye uğraşması lazım.
And the person must always strive to do better and must never make one's ego to feel content with what it does, but instead one should always try to improve and make things better.
Daha güzel şeyler yapmak için uğraşması lazım.
And people must be busy and to do things in a better way. What can I improve? What can I do better? People must ask themselves and constantly improve themselves.
Verdiği nasihat da ilk başta kendi nefsine olması lazım.
And when you give advice, that advice should be first applied to you, and you should direct that advice first to yourself before to others.
Başkasından önce kendi nefsine olması lazım ki
Any advice you give, before directing that advice and addressing others, you should first address yourself.
hakkı kabul etsin.
And you yourself need to accept that truth and reality,
Hak olmayanı yapmasın.
and you must shun and stay away from what is not the truth.
İyi olmayanı yapmasın.
You must not do what is not good,
İyi yapsın,
and you must do and fulfill what is good.
kötüyü yapmasın.
And you must stay away and leave and abandon what is not good.
Onu bilmek lazım.
And this is important to know.
Alimler, şimdi ahir zaman alimleri onlar insanlara nasihat verir ama
And now we live in a times where there are many scholars, and these scholars, they give guidance and make recommendations to people.
kendileri onu yapmaz.
However, they themselves, they do not act based on what they say.
Yahut alim bile olmasa bilmesi lazım ki nefsi insanı iyi yaptırmaz.
But you don't need to be a scholar to know that your ego never wants you to do good, and your ego never wants you to improve your state.
Onun için nasihat ilk başta nefsimize yapalım inşallah.
Therefore, we must first give advice to our own self first.
Allah nasihatı duyan,
May Allah make us become those who listen to good advice,
söyleyen
who speak and make recommendations based on good advice.
olalım, ona da yapan olalım.
And may Allah make us, of course, become those who practice what they preach and act based on their advice.
Nasihatle yapalım oğlum. Boşuna konuşmayalım.
And may Allah Almighty make us implement what we say, and may Allah Almighty protect us from speaking empty words.
İnşallah Allah yardım etsin hepimize.
May Allah Almighty support us all in this.
Ve minallah tevfik. El Fatiha.